A true magician never reveals all of his tricks. What is up, alienARMy? I am Oculus, the alien next door, purveyor of esoteric lore. And on this channel, we discuss everything out of this world. How to brainwash someone. The easiest way to brainwash someone, as a true magician knows, is to implant an idea in that person's subconscious so that when that individual's conscious mind recognizes it, it feels and it seems and it believes that that idea originated within the subject who is being brainwashed. So if you're familiar with my content, you are aware of my thoughts on the current events right now. And so I was just thinking and musing to myself, like, how are so many people brainwashed into this belief system or that belief system, or this is good or this is bad or whatever? And listen, I am not telling you that I have never been brainwashed. I was at certain points in my journey living in the matrix. Okay, so listen, we've all been there, all right? But once you break out of that matrix, you do start to see different type of signs and symbolisms of how a seemingly intelligent individual can even be brainwashed. And this is because a true magician, a master magician, the 4D magicians, I like to call them, they are adept at implanting ideas into the human animal's subconscious mind so that the conscious mind picks it up and they're like, whoa, how did that get there? Oh wait, but it's in the subconscious mind, so it must have come from me. Yeah, that's my idea, that's it. And then it's like mayhem ensues after there, right? Because now they're just functioning like a fucking zombie and they don't know their fucking ass from their fucking mouth. Anyway, the true magician has a certain finesse, if you will, in order to implant that idea, implant that seed, whatever they're trying to do, into the subject's subconscious. So this goes on predominantly in symbolism because the subconscious mind, remember, it is massive. It is way larger than the conscious mind. So even though the conscious mind is the one that's like piloting the motherfucking enterprise, so to speak, the subconscious is still able to rock the fucking spaceship whatever the fuck it wants because it's so much bigger than the conscious mind. So the conscious mind's like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm steering you. Or so they thought, because remember, the conscious mind thinks, the subconscious mind feels. So the subconscious mind, because it feels, it does not interpret like mathematical calculations. It interprets feelings, it interprets vibes, it interprets symbols. So when someone sees a certain symbol, immediately their subconscious might take it and catalog it, because remember, the subconscious mind, it's a huge fucking data bank. Like, it got everything in there, okay? Like your mind, the subconscious, because the unconscious mind is like kind of like the next level of the subconscious mind, and that stores everything, but it's really liberated out through the subconscious mind. So we're just gonna call it the subconscious. But anyway, every single memory, every single face that someone has seen, and you can look this up too, it's stored, okay? It's stored in your fucking, through the subconscious mind into the unconscious mind. And things that are going to be resurrected from the unconscious mind can come up through the subconscious mind because you have to dig around in there, right? So everything that anyone has ever seen or felt or thought or whatever, any experience they had, every face that they've ever seen in their real life is stored through the subconscious mind, and a lot of it goes just into the unconscious mind because there's just so much that the subconscious doesn't even want to keep track of it, right? But it keeps track of a lot, way more than the conscious mind, because the conscious mind is tiny in comparison to the subconscious. And then we have the superconscious mind, which, I mean, we're not even going to get into, I mean, we might, I don't know, but anyway. So the states of mind. We have when the subconscious stores something, what happens is that the subconscious mind is going to respond to repetition. Much like the conscious mind likes, you know, repeating things because it has to get, like, let's say you're reciting an affirmation to get down into the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind also inadvertently responds to repetition, even from symbols, not from things that are directed necessarily from the conscious mind, but things that are from the outside sources. So this is an example that probably everyone can relate to, which is like, if you're thinking of like a famous logo, right? Let's say the golden arches, what the fuck is that? Let's say the little check mark swoosh, what the fuck is that? Like immediately you associate that with a word, a title, a brand, all of that, right? And what is it? All that is a symbol that is keep being shown to you over and over and over again. And it doesn't really mean anything by itself, but you do associate it with a particular brand that your conscious mind registers as, oh, okay, well, this is what it is, that's what it is. So symbolism is a way that the magician gets into the subconscious mind, even with just a symbol. Now, I use like a mainstream example, like if we're talking about McDonald's or we're talking about Nike, right? But what about if there's like an ulterior motive, not necessarily to get you to like buy some food or buy some sneakers, but if it's an ulterior motive and it's a symbol and it's trying to weasel its way into the subconscious mind, therefore the subconscious mind is going to incorporate it. The conscious mind might observe it after the symbol has been repeated so many times that the subconscious mind's like took it into itself. The conscious mind's like, wait, that originated in there. It must have, because it's familiar. The subconscious mind is telling me, okay. But the conscious mind, because like it can equate what a symbol is, but it's going to want to look to something logical, right? So if you see that whoosh, that swoosh symbol, the conscious mind is be like, oh, Nike, okay, I know what that is. Yeah, it makes sense. It computes, right? But a low down, sneaky symbol is going to be more the realm of the subconscious, because the magician wants to bypass the conscious mind and insert whatever it is directly into the subconscious. And a lot of times this is for not so nice motives. So you can think of any type of symbolism. And again, we're going to talk about brainwashing. If you want to make a sigil, you know, I pronounce shit the way I motherfucking pronounce shit over here. Okay? Okay. So a sigil is basically, it's like a symbol that is comprised of like a word or phrase or whatever it is that you wrote out, and then you condensed those letters or numbers into like one symbol, and then you're like, okay, this is my sigil, and then you impart whichever type of intention you have on that sigil. So let's say I want to make a sigil, and it's not going to come with like a corporate fucking name. It's not going to come with like a brand. It's not going to, no, it's just a sigil. And people are looking at it like, what the fuck is that? They don't know what that is. But dependent upon my intention of said sigil, if I want to brainwash someone with that sigil, and that's my goal, and I just keep showing this sigil to whoever I encounter, I put it on a t-shirt, and I want whoever to see it because that's what I charged up that sigil. I charged it up with my intention, but no one knows what the fuck it is, right? It's like, wait, is that a brand? Is that a name? Like, what, huh? But that's the conscious mind of the observer. The subconscious mind of the observer of that sigil is to be like, I'll just accept it. I'll just take it in, okay? Meanwhile, that individual, the intended target to be programmed by that sigil, has no idea what the fuck it even means. I know what it means because I'm the programmer. I programmed that. I charged it up. I powered it up with my currency, with my intention. So now my intention, whatsoever that may be, is going to go out there. And because I charged it up, every time someone's subconscious mind accepts it and takes it in, they're just going to be like, oh, okay. They're going to get the urge to do whatever that sigil's intention was. I don't know if this got confusing. So let's say I wanted to make a sigil. Everyone who sees this sigil, they're gonna start craving for ice cream. Okay, cool. We're gonna use a light example there. I make my sigil, I charge it up, and ain't not a motherfucker know what that sigil means but me. I'm going to charge it up. I'm going to say, okay, here we go. Everyone that sees this, they're gonna take it into their subconscious, and then they're gonna have the taste for ice cream when they see this sigil. So I walk around, I have my sigil on a t-shirt. There is no name, there's no number. It's literally like a symbol. I know what it means, ain't nobody else does. But they are the intended target. So they see that their subconscious is looking at it. Well, their subconscious is not looking at it, I guess, per se, but they're accepting it, they're taking it in. All of a sudden, ice cream is on their mind. Whether they crave for it or not, ice cream is just going to somehow appear in their physical realm, because I've charged up with intention that sigil. This individual is now observing it. The conscious mind has no idea, doesn't give a fuck what it means. Oh, that's a weird symbol, I'm gonna move on over. But the subconscious, because it has no choice but to accept and multiply whatever, is like, ice cream? Because the subconscious, remember, the feminine aspect is picking up on nuances, whilst the conscious mind, the masculine principle of the mind, is not really, it's like, wait, I cannot compute that, that makes no sense. Whereas the feminine aspect is just receptive and it's receiving everything. It doesn't try to decipher the information that's being received. It's going strictly by vibes. So the subconscious mind is going to accept that my intention is out there in the field. It's out there in the matrix. It's out there. So the intention is there in that sigil, which I charged up. And now the person observing is taking that in. All of a sudden, ice cream. Whoa, I never liked ice cream. I'm suddenly kind of craving some, you know. This is how essentially the masses are brainwashed. Now, it can be for anything. Like, you can see symbolism and maybe your logical mind will try to interpret what the fuck it means out of, you know, like if you see an obelisk, okay, that's a phallic symbol. I mean, it's pretty obvious, pretty fucking obvious, right? That it's a fucking phallic symbol. Okay. Or, like I said, with like the mainstream logos of like the golden arches of McDonald's or the swoosh with the Nike. But what happens when there are underlying symbols that are just all over the place that the conscious mind fails to recognize, but the subconscious mind is just accepting all of them, So now, we'll use my example. I wanted motherfuckers to go out and eat ice cream after seeing my sigil, right? So now, the more I spread that sigil around, let's say I get a billboard painted with that sigil. Now it's like, whoa, more people are seeing it. So guess what happens? I already charged up that sigil. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. So now anyone who's observing that sigil, they're accepting via their subconscious mind what that sigil means. And now them looking at it, they're charging it up. But they have no idea what it means. So the more that I put this sigil wherever, I could put it on the side of a bus, I could put it in a magazine, I could put it in a YouTube ad. This sigil ain't not a motherfucker found knows what the fuck it means but me. I know. Yes, I do. And then, before you know it, guess what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna open a fucking ice cream factory. Yes, mint chocolate chip vegan. Hello, sir. So guess what happens? Because that sigil is being charged up now, because everyone that is seeing that sigil, they accepted it into themselves, and now they're like mirroring back. They're sort of like mirroring back in an energetic fashion, because they don't know what the fuck it means, because their conscious mind it's not even aware. But the subconscious, it's not aware either, but it's just like, whoa, like it was sort of like the green light go ahead, like ice cream, ice cream, ice cream. And so now, the more that sigil is displayed, the more people, because it's already inside them, that sigil is equating to ice cream, the more people that see that sigil, now they just associate that sigil with ice cream, and then the energy is being bounced back. It's being bounced back and forth betwixt that sigil and all of these brainwashed, so to speak, individuals that are all of a sudden they see that ice cream, right? Like that's how it essentially works. So the master magician is going to do something so covertly that it's going to totally, it's going to bypass the conscious mind, because that's how the master operates. The master knows in order to implant something, you have to go to the subconscious. It has no choice. It has to receive and multiply and expand, okay? It has to. The conscious mind doesn't have to do shit aside from compute equations and say, oh, this makes sense because I connected line A to dot B, and then now we have this. Okay, you trying to brainwash someone via their conscious mind, it might happen. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. But it's just going to take longer. You have to go into the subconscious, and the subconscious is the realm of, I don't know, I don't care, I just accept, I just flow with it, right? That's for everyone. I do have other videos on like the principles of the mind and things like that if you're interested. But for this, the master magician knows you are not programming motherfucking no one via their conscious mind. I mean, you could do it, but that should take too long. You just want to get in there, implant the seed, watch the garden grow. Oh shit, ice cream. Everyone's craving for ice cream. Guess what I'm going to do? Because I know that, right? I'm behind that. I'm behind the scenes of that sigil. I know what the fuck it means. I know that there's a whole mass of motherfuckers now that they're charging up my sigil. They're charging it up. And it's like reverberating energy. So now it's like a part of the matrix, if you want to say. It's like energetically all over the place. It's like connecting. Like there's a sigil here and a billboard in Tokyo. There's a sigil here and a billboard in Toronto, right? Like all over the world, I have my fucking ice cream sigils, and motherfuckers are seeing it. They're like, oh, ice cream. So I'm gonna come on through and I'm gonna build an ice cream factory in Tokyo, in Toronto, all over the motherfucking place. And guess who's gonna be making money? It's gonna be me, because I know what I did. I implanted the yearning for ice cream via the sigil into the subconscious mind of the masses. And that is how it's done. So you might think that, okay, yeah, the easy ones, the golden arches, the swoosh, cool beans. But what about the sigils that have no name, that you are not even aware are even sigils? How's that working? So that's some food for thought, because like I said in a few of my other videos, like I've been witnessing things, that I've been seeing shit that I have not seen before in like movies that I have watched before, but now I'm looking at them through like a new lens, so to speak. And I'm just like, well, symbolism is everywhere. So what about the symbolisms that are not even on the radar? Because remember, like I'm observing it like using both avenues of my mind, but what about the symbolism that is just meant to go directly into the subconscious mind? And then all of a sudden there is a need for a certain product or whatever, right? Like there's a market, because you have like a target market with your sigil. And I used ice cream, but we can use anything as an example, you know what I mean? So now all of these motherfuckers are in the market for ice cream. I'ma come through and ice cream factories all over the world. So think about it. So what things could potentially be sigils? What things are going on in the current events right now that these master magicians have already been implanting covertly into the subconscious minds of the masses? Think about it. There's a lot of things out there, right? That's how occultists, that's how magicians, that's how esoterically inclined individuals operate. you have to go in through the subconscious, which is not going to really interpret a word. It's not going to interpret a label. It's not going to interpret a brand. It's not going to interpret a lot of things that the conscious mind sees as logical and reasonable. You have to go discreetly. You have to go directly implant whatever the fuck you want via the subconscious mind. And that is how a master magician can manipulate individuals who are operating from a third dimensional standpoint. So what type of symbolism or sigils did you think might not be sigils, but at second glance, they might actually be? I'm sure you might find some in your daily life as well. So that's what I got for you today. I'm Oculus, the alien next door. We will chit chat again soon.